Well, we just played back for you two news reports on your beloved TV channel, where different sets of Nigerians converged at different points yesterday to Georgia on the state of the Nigerian nation. In line with their understanding, certain stakeholders from the southeast are calling for a second term in office for President Tinubu, while another set of creme de la creme turned former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwa's 60th birthday, into a forum for dissecting what they were unanimous in calling the failings of the Tinubu which have made life a living hell for most Nigerians in the past 2 years and a half of its coming into being. We're now being joined for a conversation around that subject matter by Dumebi Kachikwu, who is a businessman and politician, and of course, a former presidential candidate. Good morning, Mr. Kachikwu, and Happy New Year to you. Good to have you on the morning show with us.
Good morning, Steve. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, let's talk about Nigeria. This year will be interesting, as you know. Politics will be in full swing. The primaries will hold later this year when INEC releases the timetable. And we can see even from January that things are already getting interesting. From the introduction that I read yesterday was interesting. In the Southeast, which you are very much familiar with, juggernauts in the political space within the APC came together to openly endorse President Bola Tinubu, asking that he should be given a second term, while on the other hand, a former House of Representatives Speaker, Aminu Tambuwa, and of course former governor of Sokoto State, turned 60, and of course it was a political gathering, saying that APC does not deserve to be back in power for the second term. It is under the platform of ADC that they have coalesced and they will be running. And of course, you have an history with ADC. You were the presidential candidate 2.5 years ago. First will be to ask you where you are with the ADC. Are you part of the coalition, or you are still convinced that it's a project that is doomed to fail? And what is your candid assessment of what is actually going on, given how this year is starting on a political note?
Thank you, Steve. Great question. Now, let me quickly say this. Concerning the ADC, we are in court and we're letting the court process chug along. So in due course, the court will rule and we'll know where ADC stands. I'm very, very optimistic that the court will overturn all the stuff that has gone on within the ADC. So that's where things stand. Going to what you said on your introduction about what we saw play out yesterday, where certain people gathered in different parts of the country. Some people said the Bola Tinubu administration has failed and does not deserve a second term. That's the APC. What you, like most Nigerians, will find interesting is that the people making this call, look at all those people, or most of them. They are people who were from within the ranks and file of APC just a few weeks, or some of them a few months ago. What saddens me about the project called Nigeria is that most Nigerians can't see through these people and see that we have a bunch of professional politicians who are all taking us for a ride. They metamorphose from party to party, and each time all they say is that this party, this government has failed and we need to take them out. In the last 2 years, for every time any of these people have said that this government is not working, we have never heard a counter proposal. We have never heard any counter solutions. Anybody saying this is what we will do if we're in that position. What goes viral is when people speak about problems, but never solutions. Solutions don't go viral. And this is why these people continue to take us for granted. During the last elections, I said it was a travesty and a tragedy that we went into the elections without having any robust debates. Perchance, if we had had robust debates, this president would have been better prepared. He would have had arguments and counter-arguments for and against all the issues militating against the Nigerian people. But they all avoided that debate. And we are where we are today. So I will tell Nigerians, we are going to another election season. look at these people very, very closely and ask yourself, why the same group of politicians who have been there for the last 2, 3, 4 decades, the same people you have heard their names, the same people who have held public office, and anytime you held public office, most of them have failed, and they come to speak to you today about the failure of government and governance. They built the foundation for our failure. All of them. They built the foundation for where we are today. They have no locus. They have no moral standing whatsoever to come and insult us by telling us Nigeria is failing and the government of the day is failing. They are part of the government of the day. I tell people this all the time, that no matter what toga you see them carrying, or whatever flag you see them carrying, these men all still meet every night. They are all friends, they are all buddies, they attend each other's parties. That's who they are. The Nigerian people are the only people who are alien to them. We are their victims, and we must understand what is really happening. When they speak, we should poo-poo them and tell them, go away with this. Until we have a new set of Nigerians who've never held public office, who come and tell you, this is where we want to take Nigeria. And the Nigerian people realize this, that they should no longer be victims of Stockholm syndrome, that they must go in totally different direction. I'm sorry, but we have nothing, absolutely nothing to speak about change. You will never see any change. These people have absolutely nothing to offer. When they seek to remove Bola Tinubu, tell me which of them is different or better than Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Tell me which of them. They speak about suffering. Suffering. Late President Buhari laid the foundation for the suffering we're going through today. The same people you see there were part and parcel of that government. The suffering, he laid the foundation. This president came in, and instead of manning up to say, you know what, this is what I met when I came in. We have sold all our oil for the next 8 or 9 years, so we will never have any revenue for oil to use for the Nigerian people, because we're paying back loans. That we desperately need money, because he doesn't want to brand his party as the party that has put us in this situation. He doesn't say anything, and then you make the Nigerian people suffer. You increase taxes at every level. You speak about inflation, but you are the one who's generating inflation in the economy. When this president entered into office, to clear a container at the port was about 6 million naira today. To clear 140-foot container is about 20 million naira in an import-dependent economy, because he's desperately looking for money. I tell you guys, you need to start asking critical questions. If Nigeria is desperately looking for money, why are we not expanding the base of the president's council? Who are his current crop of advisors, and why doesn't he expand that base? A country of 200 million people surely will have people smart enough to look at other solutions apart from impoverishing Nigerian people. But I tell you this, I want to leave this here. I want to tell you this, that anyone who thinks that the people who gathered yesterday, that they have anything but better to offer Nigerian people, the person is living in La La Land. They have absolutely nothing. It's better to leave this president, let him continue. At least we even see someone making effort, even though the effort, 7% of the effort is making in the wrong direction. But at least we see him doing something better than the last president that we had. But Nigerians need to start asking critical questions. We should not be deceived. We got to this point because we're deceived with change. And we should not let people deceive us to change again. That change agenda, that change mantra is not going to work again. We need to ask the critical questions. Who are these people? What did they do to Nigerian state in the last 30 years? Why are they the same people coming to tell you again that government has failed? They represent failure. They represent failure. My generation is a generation that they gave us absolutely nothing. And now we're at a situation where we have nothing to offer to our children. No good schools, no good hospitals, no road, absolutely nothing to offer to our children. But the same people who brought us to this point are still telling us that government of the day, which they are part of, has failed, and that they are the solution. I'm sorry, you're not the solution. You are part of the problem. Or if you say you are the solution, tell us what you will do differently. You spoke about tax reforms. I ask a question. In any part of the world, any other part of the world, would you see government proposing tax reforms and the opposition won't have a counter proposal? Would you see anything like that? What was the counter proposal of the opposition? What did they say? This is what you should and this is what you shouldn't do. Did you hear any counter proposal? Absolutely nothing. All they are saying is that tax reforms will empower the people. What is your counter proposal? A president is saying to you, I don't have money. I need to show up the revenue base of the country. This is how I should do it. And we all agree that Nigerians are already overburdened. So what is your counter proposal on how this president should go about raising money? We watch American government shut down. They shut down the government because they are saying, the Democrats are saying this is how you should go about it. The Republicans are saying this is how you should go about it. And they had robust debates for weeks. What robust debate did we have here? What opposition?
Allow me to interrupt you for...
Don't let people deceive us.
Allow me to interrupt you because you made a lot of good points. A lot of questions need to be asked, but not a lot of answers are being given. I think it's not so much Nigerians are easy to be deceived. I think a lot of us are battle worn when it comes to the issues of politics and governance and, of course, things not changing. But there was a glimmer of hope when the mega coalition was announced. What used to be your party, what is your party that has now mushroom clouded to add additional individuals. I want to get your opinion on change, because you've been talking here about the same things going on, and hopefully being presented with an alternative that Nigerians can hope for. And we would hope that you would have faith in your party to produce some kind of alternative in order for Nigerians to explore something other than the PDP, APC, etc. So this mega coalition that you've warned about it being hijacked by high-profile politicians. What do you make of these new entrants, these new candidates? Some of them are cross-carpeting. A lot of them are cross-carpeting from other parties. What do you make of what they have to offer in terms of what you've been discussing, policy rather than just money grabbing? And also, there's the Atiku Abubakars and the Peter Obis. We know Atiku has run multiple times. We're wondering if the ADC has discussed any sort of zoning for the position of presidential candidate, knowing that Atiku is likely to not back down, and neither is Peter Obi.
Thank you, Howard. First and foremost, that's not the ADC. That's a group of professional and mostly geriatric politicians who are attempting to hijack the ADC. Like I said earlier, the court will soon rule and will know the fate of the ADC. What do I have to say about these people and their intentions? These guys don't mean well for Nigeria. They don't mean well for us as a people. They are people who only care about themselves. They keep on running on the altar of change and promising that they will do this for Nigerians and see the state of the Nigerian nation. They have mostly held public office. You can hold them accountable, ask them what they did when they were in office. Absolutely nothing. That's why we are where we are today. In the last 2 years, let me ask you this. In the last 2 years, every time we've had a national tragedy or on all issues that pertain to Nigerian people, or everything that seems to go wrong about Nigeria, all you've heard the people you mentioned, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, talk about, all they do is tweet. It's a shame. It's a tragedy. We're sorry. This is that, blah, blah, blah. All they seem to do is jab at the government of the day. But tell you something, they'll never, ever speak to the solution. We have a situation where in Nigeria today, we're speaking about terrorism. We're speaking about a particular tribe who've crossed into Nigeria and who are maiming, killing, raping, plundering this country. A few years ago, a young lady was killed in Sokoto State. Atiku Abubakar tweeted. A few minutes later, or less than an hour later, I deleted that tweet because it was not politically savvy for him to have done a tweet that seemed to go against his religion. Is that the man who wants to be president of a nation of over 200 people, majorly Christians and Muslims? How will he handle a situation where people, his kith and kin, are people who are being identified as killing and maiming Nigerians in all parts of Nigeria? As I was coming here, I was reading the story of the lawyer who was killed by one chance people. I was reading about some lawyers killed in Edo State, around the Auchi part. I heard about the doctor who was killed is in Enugu State. I weep for Nigeria because we can't see past these people. They are still newsworthy. We talk about them. We don't challenge them. We don't hold them accountable. I weep for Nigeria. For every time we speak about these people, someone is dying needlessly. Chimamanda Adichie lost a child to what she called medical malpractice. Who holds people accountable in this country? The Nigerian people need to wake up from their slumber and start doing things differently. We cannot continue to be taken a ride by professional politicians who always say they are the solution. You can't set a house on fire and come and say a fire brigade trying to put out the fire. That has been our situation. These people have nothing to offer you guys. People are laughing at us outside of Nigeria.
Okay, Dumebi, let me ask a follow-up question, because what will be, I believe, on the minds of many people will be that where exactly do you stand? Having said all of this, you mentioned earlier in your submissions that at least the current president, Tinubu, has done better than his predecessor, and you think that he should expand his strategic thinking base. Are you therefore with him? Or are you likely going to support him? Or are you with the opposition? If you are, which opposition are you aligning with? If you're asking for a new Nigeria and a new set of politicians, how precisely are you going to go about it? So to go back to the main question, where do you stand, Dumebi Kachikwu?
Steve, you've asked a very good question. I've always said this. I believe that the job of opposition is not just merely to oppose, but to propose. And in Nigeria, we just can't see that it's possible for someone to say, on one hand, I support the president, on the other hand, I disagree with the president. You call me a politician. If I'm a politician, it's about the Nigerian state and the Nigerian people. So at every given time, I will always speak about how I see things concerning Nigerian people, irrespective of whose ox is God. So where do I stand? I don't stand with the so-called coalition because I believe that they are part of the problem. Concerning the Nigerian president, I will say this, that our president has mostly taken a Yoruba-centrist approach towards solving our problems. If you speak about his economic policies and what he's trying to do, you ask a question, anytime you want to dig deep to ask who are the people advising him, you will be surprised. If his challenge is that this country we're not generating enough revenue, why are you not able to expand your think tank base so you can get the best of advice? So he keeps on failing in that regards. When we speak about security, for example, you say every time people are killed, and we speak about, the government has failed. And I keep on saying this. How does it make sense that after 2 years of watching this get worse, that the president has not been able to muster the courage to gather all politicians, all Nigerians who mean well, to say, what are we doing about this? Nigeria is at war. We have never seen a nation that's at war where the people don't really realize we're at war. We have multiple flanks across the country, in northeast, in northwest, in north central, in the southeast, now in the southwest. How many Nigerians realize that we're at war, and that when you're at war, there's an all-time patriotic fervor? But who is going to generate that patriotic fervor? It's the government of the day. But if the government of the day, everything they are doing is shrouded in secrecy, no one says anything, where war is about business and not about the business of war, how can people get behind the government of the day? So the president keeps on failing in these regards and does not understand that every time he fails, that the Nigerian people are suffering. So if he has the courage to take bold decisions like removing subsidy, removing the energy subsidy, he must also have the boldness to ensure that the subsidy removed is applied in the right direction. We're seeing governors who were getting an average of 5 billion naira a few years ago are getting about 28 billion naira monthly. Why are people still suffering? What's going on in the states? Who is holding them accountable? So the problem is we must stop looking at this as about APC and coalition. It's not about APC and coalition. It's about the Nigerian people and these geriatric politicians. when we continue as the media to sell this narrative about coalition and about APC, Nigerian people will make the same mistake again. If rather than let this go, let's show up what this man is doing in the next 2 years, because every day of suffering is not acceptable. Let's force this man to expand his think tank. Let's force him to take better decisions, and so the next 2 years is easier for Nigerians. But if we think that looking at the people we've talked about, that these people have anything better, anytime you bring them on this show, because they will come and react to what I've said, if you bring them to this show, ask them critical questions. Please, how do you want to solve one chance problem in Abuja? How do you want to stem the tide of kidnappings? How do you want to stem the tide of the Fulani stock who are coming to our country and killing people? How do you want to stem the tide of what's happening in the northwest or the northeast or north central? It's a bloodbath almost every day. Ask them what they will do if they were in the shoes of the president. Ask them that question. What they will do to better the economy today. What they will do to generate employment. Ask them what they will do about our infrastructure.
Just a quick one. Before we ask them, let us ask you, when you say in the next 2 years, this is the direction that you want, let's show up support for the president. Are you therefore in support of President Tinubu's administration for the next 2 years, given that elections will come next year? Are you speaking for this administration by any chance? Or you are saying, I'm available, and Nigerians should support that it's a better alternative than trying another opposition party come into power? Is that what you are saying clearly?
Okay, let me say it in case I was not clear. Let me say it again. At any given point, we have one president who represents Nigeria in the green, white, green of our flag. So to all intents and purposes, when I speak about our president, I speak about supporting him as he's in office. If Atiku Abubakar were in office, I'll speak in that regard. But I'm saying this also, that we are coming to an election season, that Nigeria can do much better than those people who are running for office, including the president himself, and that we should look in a different direction outside of all these people. But what will happen is this, right? These people control all the instruments of office and power. They manage to manipulate the judiciary every now and then. And you can see what's happening within my party. So Nigerians like you and I, if we understand that everything is rigged against us and that we have to think outside the box to ensure that we have a fighting chance to take on these people, then we need to start doing that immediately.
Fair enough.
It's about these people and the Nigerian people.
Fair enough. Let's move on to Rivers State. Rivers State House of Assembly has initiated another round of impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara. So what do you make of the crisis down there? Are you in support of Minister Wike? Are you in support of Fubara?
What's happening in Rivers State is a shame. It speaks about character. In politics, every time people support you to go for office or to go into office, they expect that they know who you are and what you stand for. And when you go against that which they expect, you always see crisis. Governor Fubara is not the only person who was sponsored or supported by someone to get into office. I wonder why we keep on having this problem in Rivers State. So let me put it this way. Let's accept that what we know is that we have Minister Wike as someone who is garrulous, who is troublesome, who is problematic, who is everything bad. Let's accept that. But he's one of almost 5 million indigenes of that state. One of almost 5 million indigenes of that state. If I were the governor of that state, I will manage Minister Wike like I manage any problem that comes across my table on a daily basis. You know something interesting? Take Delta State. I know what former Governor Kowa did to ensure that the current governor is governor of the state. Why come they're not having crisis? What of the other states? How come they're not having crisis? Do you think it's about the person of Minister Wike, or is about a governor who lets himself get easily distracted? After 6 months of a state of emergency, that we're back to this again, it's a shame. It's a shame. The constant we knew before he came into office is Wike, and everyone knows Wike's antecedents. This is who Wike is. So if you chose to let Wike sponsor you into office, if you chose to dine with the devil, you cannot complain about who the devil is. You already know who the devil is. So what are you complaining about today? What is the real issue? Let me tell you something. You always hear politicians come and say, oh, Wike this, Wike that. But I will tell you that privately, I speak to most of these people, and they tell me that the government doesn't have character. That's what most of them say to me. They don't like Wike, but they tell you that the governor doesn't have character. We need to look deeper into this. What are they really fighting about? In the last 2 years, what has happened in that state? What does the governor have to show? This crisis? It can't continue like this. It's a shame that we keep on discussing Fubara and Wike. It's a shame.
So when you say it's a shame and that you will have handled it differently, I'm wondering, are you therefore suggesting that Fubara should have allowed his godfather Wike to have his way in totality? And if it is true that part of the agreement, as they say, agreement is agreement, is that he won't run for a second term and he won't nominate any political office holders, he should have agreed, given that at the time in our recent history, Wike himself, while he was governor, did say about another state that if a sitting governor was having a problem with his godfather, he should fight. You are therefore saying that Fubara should lie low and listen to his godfather.
Okay. What I'm saying is there's a governor in Rivers State and his name is Sim Fubara. To him, we hold everything that happens in Rivers State accountable. We hold him accountable for everything that happens in Rivers State. The governor is allowing his political godfather distract him, and it's happening because the governor is unable to manage his political godfather. What are the real issues? What is Wike asking for? If Wike is saying that you should treat me as a demigod, if Wike is saying that you should bow before me every morning, you should call me first thing you wake up every morning, and whatever it is, my question is this: Sim Fubara, before you entered into office, is this how you were relating with Wike? What has changed? Sim Fubara, we are all imagining what the real issues are. If you are saying you are acting out of principle today, come publicly and tell all Nigerians what the real issues are, what Mr. Wike is asking you to do. I'm tired of the innuendos. My point is that if the man wants to fight on the position of principle, then principle demands that he should come clean and tell us what is really happening in the state. But as long as he allows us to work with innuendos, then the man is just being Lilliputian in his approach to these issues. And why the people are suffering.
So are you
tell us the issue so we know what we're fighting for.
Right. So are you saying that Wike is right and the governor is wrong and he should go ahead and get impeached?
No, absolutely not. What I'm saying is this, that the constant we all knew before he became governor is Mr. Wike, and we knew his antecedents, and we saw how he has been fighting, and his approach to politics, and how his approach, and how the dogged fighter is, and how he takes on all issues. So we all knew this about Mr. Wike, and same Mr. Wike sponsored this man into office, and this man has worked for him for years and knows who Mr. Wike is, and accepted to be sponsored by Mr. Wike. What has then changed? What are you saying about this man now today? If you say that you are fighting for the Rivers people on issues of principle, that Mr. Wike is asking to do what you cannot do in good conscience, tell us what those things are so that we know what we're speaking about. Now, you and I are talking about innuendos, what we are not sure of. That's my problem with what he's doing. He's allowing Ijaw people believe that this man is fighting Ijaw people, but we have seen the same man sponsor a lot of Ijaw people into office. Fubara, tell Nigerian people what the real issues are so we know what we're talking about. But as long as you continue to play this charade where you leave it open to subjective discussion, it's not fair. It's not fair that your state is continuously discussed day in, day out. It's not fair. Tell us what the real issues are. Tell you something again. Let me take this further. If I were to be the governor of the state, and I've been asked to do what I believe is immoral against my good conscience, and if I see that the political process structure does not allow me to do what my good conscience allows me to do, and I'm being pressured to do that which is against my conscience, is there anything wrong in resigning to send a strong signal, strong statement to Nigerians that there are people who are principled, take a principled stand? The problem we have is that we all of us, you and I, will keep on talking and arguing about all these issues, whereas these people continue to play the same games and they are the same people. I actually believe it's a waste of our time to continue to bring this issue into public discourse because we know what the issues are.
All right. Dumebi Kachikwu, we want to thank you for joining us. It's been an interesting one. Sometimes when the issue is about a perceived David and Goliath, you know how the public will take it. But of course, we do understand your submissions. I want to thank you
exactly
for joining us on the morning show today. Thank you indeed.